JHK here for Sports Chito, and joining me right now is UFC bantamweight Louis Smolka. How you doing, man? How's life treating you?
Not bad, John. Not bad at all.
Now, let's jump right into it, man. This fight with Sean O'Malley, you know, he's a target for a lot of guys in the division. Could you give us some insight into how this fight just came together?
The UFC told me this is what I was doing, so this is what I'm doing.
Like, it was that simple?
Yeah, they told us, they're like, this is what you're gonna do, and I was just like, oh, okay.
That's it. Oh, that's very simple, man. Like, there's no problem.
Yeah.
Like, they just gave you the contract, and they're just like, all right, I'll sign it, no problem.
Yeah, like I was just like, all right, if this is what it is, this is what it is, you know. Usually when they have like a matchup in mind, it's gonna happen.
Now, for yourself, when you first got the news, though, like, what was your reaction to it? Were you like, oh, this is something very interesting?
Like I was surprised that they're gonna like bless me with this opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna give me Sean O'Malley? Like, well, thank you. You know, like, I appreciate it. This is like, honestly, this is the biggest opportunity of my career this far. Like, this is the most IG followers, the most social media, like the most mainstream appeal that I've gotten so far. This is huge.
Yeah, I saw that you wrote on Twitter that, you know, once this fight was announced, that the notifications was just going crazy, and the reaction, man. Like, I'm pretty sure people just been DMing you all kinds of crazy things, right? So is it somewhat overwhelming a little bit?
No, I try not to pay attention to it. Like, I'll deal with it later. I'm like, one of the worst things you can do is kind of like get stuck staring at the lights, you know, like, and just kind of freezing up, you know, like, oh my God, this is too much. So I'm just like not gonna deal with it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, man. Because, you know, sometimes it's hard. It's hard to kind of like stay away from that. You're right. It's like calling you a little bit.
Like, I mean, I try to look and keep up just to like fix the stay in touch with the narrative and stuff. You know, I got to pay attention to what's going on. But you see people just like fighting with each other in the comments, and like people are like DMing me, Sean's gonna knock you out first round, bitch. Like, and then there's other people like, I hope you fuck this guy up. I'm just like, oh, like, there's a lot of attention. I'm not used to this, you know. Like, I'm not used to this many like random people caring about my fight. You know, taking the time to actually like let me know their opinions. I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. This is new.
There's a fun side to it too, man. And speaking of attention, man, recently I saw that, you know, the UFC film crew was there, you know, doing some filming. And what was that like?
That was the first time they ever came to film me, so I was pretty stoked on it. I was like, oh wow, yeah, this is camera time, awesome. Like, honestly, I'm just like taking it as it comes, you know, just like whatever you guys need me to do, I'm gonna do it, you know. There's a lot of opportunity here for me. This is a very lucrative fight, so I'm just playing ball. Like, whatever you guys need me to do, I'll be there. I will do it. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Like, whatever.
Yeah, ride the wave, and you know, and you've been through a lot, man, in your career. So I guess you get to kind of get a wider audience and tell your story, which is great. I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, man, it's kind of like, I guess that's the narrative right now, right? Is like guys like, you know, with Dustin, Poirier, you know, they paid their dues and like they're getting what they deserve now, you know. I've been in this company for 15 fights so far. I've definitely paid my dues. I've fought a lot of people. I fought a bunch of title challengers or contenders, you know, at 125. You know, I kind of got my feet wet at bantamweight, you know, trying to like fill in for the weight class and be competitive at the upper echelon, you know. And yeah, I guess it's time, you know, it's time to find out like if I can hang at bantamweight.
Yeah, speaking of guys resurging, Brendan Moreno last weekend. The dude's story, man, it's just incredible, like how he gets cut, you know, and comes back and wins the flyweight title. When you were watching that, like, what were the emotions? Like, did you have some kind of connection to that? Like, you felt something with that?
I don't know how to feel. I'm like, I don't know how to feel about it, honestly. Like, it's like back and forth. Like, I'm kind of upset because he beat me and stuff, and that's like the title of it. That's like his rise and my fall or whatever. But at the same time, maybe it like helped me out, like, in a way, because, you know, at that point the drinking was already kind of bad, and what would have happened if I'd won that? That might have been really bad, you know. So, I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know, like, I don't know how to feel about it. So I'm just not dealing with it. I have my own problems. I have bigger problems. Like, I mean, like, I don't know how to feel. So I'm just like, all right, whatever.
All right.
That's how I do things, bro. I just don't deal with them.
Yeah, man, it's all good, man. It's all good. You know, the last time we saw you in action was in December. You know, you got an impressive win, ground and pound. I loved it. You know what I mean? But now it's been 7 months between fights. So what have you been doing since actually before you headed into camp for this fight?
Since then, I've been working on building size. I worked with Corey Beasley a lot at Fight Camp Conditioning. He actually got me to deadlift like over 300 pounds for the first time. Like, that was pretty big for me, you know. Like, I noticed a definite change after that. Like, I was like, wow, like, life is different. The earth is lighter, you know. Like, I can just move shit and throw it. I'm like, it's a legitimate difference. So, like, a legitimate difference in my strength I can feel. And you know, that's been big for me. I've been going to jiu-jitsu, adding in some new things, working with what's it called, nutritionist too, you know, just working on getting better. We were shopping for a fight a little bit, but I ended up getting a concussion. Actually, it was pretty scary, honestly. There was so I don't know if you remember the Spencer Fisher thing, but the Spencer Fisher thing came out like, and then I got a concussion. There was like so many of the same symptoms. Like, I was getting warm at night, and like my neck was all fucked up, and like I was like nauseous, and I was like, holy shit, like I was getting kind of scared. And then so I ended up taking like these mushrooms, life cycle mushrooms and stuff right here. Life cycle mushrooms, and it was crazy, dude. Like, I took it, and like I kind of took I felt it immediately, or I took it and I was just trying to be like, okay, so this is the hype now, like let's see what it does, you know. And I was like, took a couple like deep breaths and tried to relax, and like I instantly felt like my stiff neck like popped, like it released, like well, maybe not instantly, like within like 30 seconds. And I was just like impressed. It was like, oh wow, this is like way better, you know. I mean, like at first I was kind of scared. I was like, oh my god, like this is a concussion, this is horrible. But then after I started taking the life cycle mushrooms, it was like an immediate change. Like, the quality of life was instantly better. The nausea went away. Like, my neck wasn't as stiff. Like, it loosened up a lot. Like, I was like not normal, but the symptoms disappeared like 90%. Like, I was like, all right, quality of life, this is fine, you know. And so like it just steadily progressed. And like during that time I was working my strength and conditioning because I didn't want to do too much plyo. I was like, I don't really want to deprive my brain of oxygen right now. That doesn't feel like the way, you know. I was like, I don't like that. But yeah, so I've been taking these. I noticed like an incredible difference in like my short-term memory and stuff, dude. Like, yeah, so I was pretty much just working on that for like the past 6-7 months.
Oh, so the concussion was like in the beginning of the year, what, January?
Yeah, January, yeah. It was like somewhere around January.
Who recommended the mushrooms to you?
I was talking to my manager, Jason House, and then so one of the dudes that works for him, this kid Jacob Paraga, he went and contacted them for me. He's like, I'll get you whatever you need, bro. He's always had my back. So he went and he's like I was telling him, I was like, dude, I don't feel good. And he's like, yeah, I was talking to Jason. He said something about like your head is all fucked up. And I was like, yeah. So then they got me the mushrooms, and I feel like 100%. I feel better now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel better now. So I'm just like, all right. Like, okay, this is the way, you know, everybody take the mushrooms. Just take the mushrooms. Life cycle, bro. Lion's mane, cordyceps, mushrooms in the ratio. Just take it, dude. Like, this is the way.
All right, man. All right. Hopefully they sponsor you or something, man.
They send them to me, but like I'm straight up sold on them. I'm like, yo, this is the way, guys.
All right, for sure, man. Let's do it. Let's get like I need some mushrooms too, man. I'm gonna have to order some of those. Bro, yeah, my memory's bad. Like my short-term memory.
Legitimate short-term memory difference. I promise you. Take them for like a week, and you'll legitimately notice. You're like, oh, I can remember what I ate for dinner yesterday. I can clearly remember. Oh yeah, I remember cutting up the lemons, or I remember cutting up like it's a legitimate difference.
All right. Now, so, you know, you kind of step away from, you know, getting hit and everything. And then when did you start like getting back into it and sparring? Is that something, you know, like I noticed the fighters, they've kind of like stepped away from hard sparring. Is that something you did or do you still go in there and go hard, you know, from time to time?
I go hard from time to time, but like, I don't know, like, dude, the sparring, it's like, it's different for everybody, I think. Like, some guys know how to not get hit in sparring, so I'm just going there and bang and just like don't care that they're like have a headache the next day and shit. Like it's different for everybody, I think. And for me, what I like to, or for when I first started, I sparred a lot. They had me spar a lot because you really got to learn it, you know, when you're younger. You got to learn the lanes, you got to learn the angles, you got to learn like what you're looking at, you got to learn like how to mess with the vision and stuff. And so as you get older though, I feel like you once that's kind of ingrained in you and you learn how to fight, you don't need the sparring as much. And so like I've kind of backed off of it. I don't spar anywhere near as much as I used to. But I still do go hard every now and again.
Let's talk about Sean O'Malley. You know what I mean? Like the persona. And usually he kind of goes and takes jabs at opponents, but he seems like he's been quiet, you know, up to this point. Have you seen anything or heard anything from him?
I heard he was being respectful. At like the that's what the camera crew was telling me. He's been very respectful this fight, and like, you know, I mean, I am too, honestly. Like he's a legitimate like prospect. You know what I mean? But you know, prospects got to get put up against the veterans to prove themselves. So I guess that's why I'm here. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. Everybody has this whole persona of him, and like they're like, oh yeah, you know, like it's like a real like love him or hate him kind of guy. But for me, I'm kind of indifferent. You know, like you see, he has like the whole like SoundCloud rapper persona with the crazy hair and the facial tattoos and stuff. And like, I mean, I feel like honestly, so he comes off as kind of like a rebel and like fuck society and shit. 'Cause that's usually what the face tattoos mean, right? But then again, like you hear the stories of him donating like his winnings from Call of Duty tournaments, or like he gets his Reebok check-in shoes and just gives them out to like neighborhood kids or whatever. And like, you know, like I look at his page and stuff, and he's got like his kid with him, and like, you know, he's like trying to like, it seems like he's trying to raise her as like as best he knows how, you know, like this is what I know. So yeah, like yeah, like so you raise him the best you know how. Like I can feel that, you know, like I get that. And so like he seems like not too bad a person. I think the persona comes from him not wanting to be a broke fighter, and he was like, you know what, I have this opportunity. I like, and like, I mean, I'm sure it's like not like he made like it probably is. It probably is somewhat true to life, but it's not necessarily like he's like a complete like like he's not completely out of touch with reality. Like, you know, he's still in touch with reality, I would think, and it's just like a persona, honestly, to make sponsorship money would be my guess. Like he's like, I'm here, I'm recognizable, I want like I don't want to be broke when I fight, you know, this will help me with like to pursue my dreams. So I'm like, whatever, dude, whatever you got to do, I'm not gonna judge you, you know.
Yeah, for sure, man. And when you take away all that, you know that O'Malley is talented. You know, like you said, he's a guy, he's a prospect. What is your breakdown of the type of fighting style he brings to the cage?
It's kind of like American style kickboxing is what it looks like to me, which is kind of funny because Stephen Thompson is on the same card, so like fucking yeah. But and it's kind of like McGregor too, which is funny because McGregor's on the card as well. But I don't know if you remember when McGregor first came out, he threw a lot of the arcing kicks and like the spinning kicks in order to set up the straight shot down the middle off his rear hand. I feel like that's kind of what O'Malley does. He attacks your edges, kind of like trying to make like mess with your movement, and then he sends the straight shot down the middle, like the kill shot, you know. And so Stephen Thompson honestly kind of does that too. His is like a little bit more like, I would think his is like a little bit more like polished just because of the amount of time he spent doing American style kickboxing, you know. He's got that ring experience, and so it's a little more polished, whereas O'Malley's is more suited for MMA. It's more designed for MMA. And so like that's my assessment. He's kind of an American style kickboxer that employs a similar strategy to what Conor used when he first came on the scene.
For sure. Now, the only person to defeat O'Malley was Chito Vera. Have you worked with him any ahead of this fight at Oyamas?
It was Chito actually kind of he trains a lot at Ruka now with Perillo and them. So I haven't really seen him too much, but like I talked to him a little bit, and like yeah, like he was kind of like I was looking for like a jits coach and stuff, and he was like, yeah, you know, da da da. Yeah, so I was kind of like just like I talked to him, before he fought O'Malley, and so he kind of told me like what his game plan was, and I was like, yeah, man, that math sounds good, like that sounds about right, you know. So kind of like taking little bits of his assessment, and like we're not the same fighter, but yeah, I'm taking little pieces of it and seeing what works for me.
Yeah, of course, man. That's what it is, right? No one's a carbon copy of each other. Every fight is different. Every matchup is different. Now, you know, what I mean, you've been in the fire. You know, you've been the underdog. You've been in enemy territory, and you come out with the victory. Do you think that that's what kind of separates you from O'Malley?
That definitely will play a factor, I think, and like as the fight goes on. Um, to be honest, you don't really know what a person has. You don't know if it'll separate us by that much. He might have some of that dog in him too. You know, we don't know yet. He hasn't shown it yet, but it might be in there. You know, like you're on a Conor card. This would be the time to pull it out. You know. So he might have some of that dog in him. We'll see. I know I'm no stranger to it. I've been around here. People kind of know what I'm about. I mean, I'm not the perfect fighter, but I'm here for the action. You know, I'm here for the finish. I'm here to like play. I'm here to answer your prayers to the blood gods.
So, what is the prayers, man? Like, what kind of prayers do you see the blood gods fulfilling in this one?
Well, MMA Twitter is just like that. That's all they're about, right? They like the hardcores. Their little niche of Twitter is pretty funny. They're about praying to the blood gods and like, you know, this we're here for the violence, and you know, like they worship like Robbie Lawler and like Robert Whitaker and like I guess Izzy and like you know what I mean. They want to see the violence. They want to see like the martial arts like going up against each other, and like they want the closure of a finish. Really is what they want. They want the closure of a finish, you know, because with decisions it's kind of hard to say. You know, there's like some ifs, ands, or buts. You know, you can always have the Nick Diaz argument where I just ran out of time, or the Nate Diaz argument where I just ran out of time. You know, so I'm here for them. You know, I'm here to try to answer their prayers for entertainment.
Probably won't be going to the judges this fight, right? Is that what you see?
I mean, I doubt it. It might, but I doubt it.
All right, man. Now let's talk about that main event, man. UFC 264. You mentioned earlier the McGregor Poirier. It's the trilogy. What is your expert analysis, man, on this fight? Like, what do you see happening?
I've been wrong a lot lately. I don't know. My analysis is off. I'm not paying enough attention to it. Honestly, I'm worried about my own shit. um, honestly, man, I don't know what's going on with McGregor. He's real hit or miss as of late. Ever since he gained star power. I think it was Roy Jones Jr. or somebody, but it's I don't know, one of those famous boxers. He said something like it's really hard to wake up wanting to fight when you wake up on silk sheets. You know, I mean, most of us we all fight for like money, respect, fame, you know, honor, whatever it is. But once you've gotten those things, like your reason for fighting is almost like it's kind of like it's been achieved. You know, like you did what you set out to do. So why would you keep doing it? And so I don't like it's hard to tell with McGregor. Has like is he gonna find new reasons to keep fighting and new reasons to keep pushing himself? It's hard to say. I mean, if he does, he is very good when he is on. And in that first fight, or sorry, in the second fight, like everybody's like, "Oh, you just got washed, you got beat up, you suck." But like honestly, he won the first round. Like he almost had Poirier out of there in the first round. I guess he didn't calculate well enough for the leg kicks, which you know we all make mistakes. So it's hard to tell. Like honestly, Poirier will now have the confidence of knowing McGregor does not have like this looming I guess like all like McGregor's not a looming all-knowing deity that just has his number no matter what. You know, he'll have the confidence like I beat him, he's human. You know, so it's hard to tell. Like it's really hard to tell. If I had to guess, I would think it's probably gonna be Poirier just off of activity, because Poirier bites more often, and so like the activity will probably be in his favor. He'll be sharper, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, for sure. Now, one last thing, man, about the bantamweight division. Right now, it's kind of at a standstill at the top. You know, with how the Aljamain Sterling and Petr Yan played out, and you know the belt changing hands. Are you interested in seeing that immediate rematch, or do you feel like okay, some other guy can fight for the belt? You know, what I mean, some other fight interests you more as a fan.
I don't know. What happens? Honestly, man, it's weird how that is. Like, you kind of want to see Petr Yan come back and kind of be punished for what he did, but like it looked like he was about to take Aljo out. Honestly, like he got a little overzealous, but it looked like he was about to get him. But then again, he was tired too. Like he was maintaining his cardio better than Aljo was, but he was tired too. I don't know. Is he suspended or what? Like, what's going on with that?
There's no suspension. They're just.
He didn't get suspended. It's an unintentional DQ. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see them rematch it. I mean, but there is also the merit of, well, Petr Yan did something wrong, so he needs to like earn this back. He kind of should be punished a little bit. I could kind of see that as well. Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm not. I like I said, dude. I haven't really been focusing too much on anything outside of my own little bubble. You know, I've been pretty like in my own head for this one.
No problem, man. Well, hey, I'm glad you are, man, because July 10th, UFC 264 pay-per-view, sold out in minutes. T-Mobile Arena, the crowd is back, 20,000 plus. It's a huge moment for you, Luis, and man, it's gonna be an incredible fight. I think the matchup is great, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Thank you so much for the time, taking the time in this training camp for me.
Yeah, no problem, John.